I've recently seen a couple of YouTube titles saying collecting is dying, Walmart is stopping selling physical media. So I thought I'll have a look into it, see what it's all about. Is this really happening? What's happening at Walmart? Let's find out today on the channel. So welcome back. And if you're new here, my name is Matt and this channel is all about movies, DVD, 4K, Blu-ray and sometimes VHS. We talk about the collecting hobby. We look at editions, do live streams, do chat videos like this. So if this is something you're interested in, scan the QR code that's on the screen now. Come and subscribe to the channel or subscribe down below. Leave a comment as well. What do you think about this subject? Watch the video first and then make your comments. Right, let's get into it. Okay, so the first one that, when I saw this thumbnail, I thought, really? Walmart stopping selling physical media? So I looked into it. Now, Google tells me this. No, Walmart is not stopping the sale of physical media, such as DVDs, Blu-rays and 4K discs. But the selection has been significantly reduced in many store locations and varies widely by store. Walmart remains the largest retail seller of physical discs in the US. While competitors like Best Buy have completely exited the physical media business and Target has significantly cut back in store, Walmart has reportedly reinforced its commitment to the market with an estimated market share exceeding 45%. Okay, so that's good news that Walmart is still committed to selling physical media. However, it does sound like they are reducing their in-store stuff. Is it that they're maybe moving a bit more to the online platform? Is this where physical media is really selling? A lot of people go into their Walmart stores and they're doing their shopping. Years ago, they probably would have picked up DVDs. Is the market now just moving towards Blu-ray and 4K? Best Buy decided that they'd had enough of the physical media market and they exited. Target again seems to have massively reduced what they sell in store. I don't have access to these websites to order stuff. Obviously I'm based in the UK, but it's an interesting sort of look at what is happening as we go into 2026 and beyond. I've also seen the thumbnail saying collecting is dying. Now again, maybe this is sort of centered around new collecting. I can't see collecting secondhand on the secondhand market going away anytime soon. I think collectors are still looking on eBay, Vinted, Craigslist, I think it is in the US. Still looking in charity shops in the UK and thrift stores in the US. So I think the second-hand market is still, very much alive. I do wonder whether maybe 4K re-releases that we're starting to see happening are kind of putting collectors off a bit. Maybe they're seeing just a rehash of what we've had before. Our company's kind of holding back on their 4K releases. Are they sort of putting out subpar editions with sort of not great sound, or some of the transfers, the remasters have not been done well, so it gives them the opportunity to re-release the film once again on 4K. Now, as businesses, they will do this. They need to sell their products. But when we see films that have not even come out on the 4K format, like The Rock, like Con Air, like Armageddon, wouldn't it be better if the studios focused on producing quality products that the consumer's going to really enjoy, feel they've got sort of value for money, rather than kind of re-churning out the same popular titles over and over again, just saying, well, this needs changing, the sound has improved, better HDR, we're putting Dolby Vision on these things now. All these sorts of so-called upgrades, really, are they just to try and resell the product time and time again? We see it with collector's editions. Certainly in the UK, you know, we've seen the likes of Blade Runner being released multiple times, The Matrix, those top tier titles that constantly get re-releases. And I'm not necessarily talking about the discs being remastered all the time, they're just repackaged into different boxes, different styles, with steelbooks, lenticulars, all this kind of thing. Companies know that people want to collect these, but are we as collectors kind of getting a bit fed up now of seeing the same re-release after re-release? I know for me, I've kind of reached a point where I need to be satisfied with one edition of a film rather than buying multiple copies of the same thing over and over again. I've just got to that point in my collecting journey where I feel enough is enough, and if a latest edition comes along, I've really got to either decide, do I really want that? If I do, then I need to sell what I've had before. A perfect example of this is the Back to the Future trilogy. Now up there you can see I have the 4K 35th anniversary timestamp edition. It's got some steelbooks in there which I know weren't very popular with a lot of people, that make up the 3 images of the DeLorean over 3 time periods. It comes with a lot of extras in there, which, you know, you are getting in sort of these new editions that have come out. Yes, okay, they're giving you extra special features on the Back to the Future edition. I do believe Back to the Future 2 and 3 are just what came before. But for me, I'm just happy with that edition up there. I may add some little bits and pieces to that edition, but I don't feel the need to go and rebuy these films just in a different package with a lot of the same stuff that's already in that collector's edition. Yes, okay, there are things, extra things, which may not be in this edition that are in the other edition, but I have to sort of be sensible about this and think, look, I've got this edition, I'm happy with it, I can watch the films in the best quality available. As far as I know, they've not remastered those, they're the same transfers that are in those new single editions that are in that setup there. So for me, you know, it's time for me to say enough's enough, I've got what I want. But there are collectors out there that will collect multiple editions of the same film. I'm guilty of it, I've done it in the past, but my collecting is changing. Now, I think this video that's saying collecting is dying is kind of feeding into that and basically saying, look, collectors are getting a bit fed up with this. You know, you keep re-releasing the same popular titles time and time again, tweaking things, either giving us a new remaster where things weren't done right before, adding extra content, putting in different stuff, tat. But are we as collectors kind of getting to the point where we've reached saturation point? We're getting fed up with this now, and we just want to own one particular version of a film in the best possible quality. Some people are even quite happy just having the DVDs of these editions, or even the Blu-rays. Now, I did do a video recently talking about 4K playback issues, and people are experiencing problems with 4K discs. So again, as collectors, you start to think, well, am I just better off with the Blu-ray? A, it's cheaper. B, I'm probably not going to get any issues with it. Are we finding that the manufacturing of these things is slipping? or is it being done deliberately so that we have to then rebuy the same thing 2 or 3 years down the line? Oh, there's a new edition here, we corrected X, Y and Z on this disc. But really, these studios, if there are problems with the previous discs, should be allowing us collectors to send those discs back for replacements. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some retailers that do this, like Arrow. Warner Brothers did do it with the Superman films, and I did do that with the Superman the movie and Superman 2. But when things are being done by other studios, kind of deliberately leaving things out, not giving you the versions you want, maybe not putting the IMAX ratio on certain editions, but then it gives them the excuse to then put in a new edition of that film with IMAX. As a 3D collector, unfortunately, 3D is becoming very much a dead format. You've still got the likes of James Cameron, who's producing the Avatar films, and I'm sure Fire and Ash will get the 3D release that he wants it to go out with. German company Turbine, they are producing 3D editions still for the 3D collectors market, but that is becoming very, very niche now. Even some of the stuff that we've seen in Japan for Disney stuff doesn't seem to be happening. Certainly not Tron Ares. There's no 3D of that. There's no Predator Badlands 3D that I can see that's coming out. I think they may continue with the Marvel 3D, but again, to import this stuff from Japan is incredibly expensive for us collectors in the UK or in the US or even in Europe. So you've got to make the decision, you know, am I happy with what I've got here, or am I just going to keep rebuying the same thing over and over again? A couple of things, like I say, that I've seen which, yeah, is a little concerning for collecting in 2026. I'm sure we will continue to see some wonderful editions coming out this year, but certainly from my point of view, I'm very much focusing on having a collection that is specific for me, only collecting the titles that I really want, partly due to lack of space, but also feeling a bit of fatigue, collector's fatigue maybe. Maybe this is what some people are finding now in the collecting community. I'm not saying everyone is, but it looks like people are starting to feel this, a bit like with the comic book fatigue that we've seen. However, fatigue comes and goes, so there may be a resurgence. Certainly if streaming becomes even more centered on trying to draw people away from physical media to streaming. I've heard that companies may start to bundle streaming services together, certainly in the US, to avoid the churn that people will do. So they'll subscribe to a channel or a service for X number of weeks or months, and then they'll cancel, skip to another one. Obviously the streaming services want this to stop, so they're going to come up with new ways to try and keep people subscribed to the platforms. Whilst all of this is going on, it still allows the collectors of physical media and new people that are fed up with the streaming sites to still keep collecting physical media. So I think it'd be great if we can have a balance between the two. I don't think collecting is dying, but there are signs it's still decreasing for 2026 for the mass market. But certainly for collectors, I can still see collector's editions coming thick and fast over the coming months of this year. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Take care. See you next time.